States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's all I can see. The people of the agenda. Questions, comments, concerns, changes?
Just a heads up that Mr. Rodriguez, while he is out there in the virtual world, he's not here in person to give his report. He did submit it, though. You've got a paper copy in front of you.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And is it moving? David, are we recording? Josh, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Back to that modern technology we were talking about. Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Josh, one more time. Are you out there?
Yes, can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
He says he can hear us.
You can hear us?
He can hear us. We can't hear him, which is still okay.
Okay. Is he
All right.
recording? Oh, I heard it.
Okay. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Great.
Good
Great.
to
Aye.
Hi, welcome. All right. Okay, so agenda's been approved. Did you get that, Heidi? Okay. Moving on to delegation. Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, thank you very much, Teddy. I'd like to introduce April Betchen, who's going to step forward. She accompanied a group of our students to Washington, D.C., and she's just going to introduce them. They're going to come up and talk about their experience a little bit.
Awesome.
Great. Hi, everybody. Like Mr. Peterson said, my name is April Betchen, and I'm the Gear Up site coordinator for both the middle school and the high school. And yeah, we took 3 students with us to Washington, D.C., where they got to do some pretty amazing opportunities, like go and speak to members of Congress, which was a pretty powerful experience for them. So they're just going to come up and talk a little bit about what they learned and the impact that they made. And so first, we're going to start with Jersey Newton. This is Jersey.
Hi, I'm Jersey. I'm in 10th grade at Kyvie High School, and today I would like to talk about the parents' role in the student's life and substance use. So, in the past few months, I've heard a lot of students talk about their use of marijuana and drugs, and they most commonly say they get it from their parents or their parents have a role in getting it for them. And some students even say their parents enjoy using alcohol with them. And this is very negative because it can make the students feel like using alcohol and drugs is encouraged or is positive when it's really not. And 53% of students have reported that their parents showed favorable attitudes towards substance use. And that means more than half of them surveyed said that their parents are accepting of or lenient towards their children using substances like tobacco, alcohol, or drugs. This is very difficult and it's a challenge because while it's ultimately up to each student to make their own choice, it is incredibly difficult for the students to stop using the substances when it's so encouraged. And parents' attitudes can play a significant role on whether the students develop substance use habits later in life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jersey. Okay. Next step. Oh, sorry.
April,
Yes.
could you explain to the board who they are representing and
Yeah,
the group that they
absolutely.
went?
Actually, I'm going to have Brianna come and introduce herself because even though I was a chaperone
Yep.
on this. This is not my organization that I,
Yep.
but.
It's okay, I was like, she could totally do it, it doesn't matter, so, yeah, so they are the Claws of the Cause, so they are a youth, subcommittee group of our larger coalition for a healthy Benton City. So we do, a lot of youth substance use prevention and mental health promotion in the community. We also go over data and see how we can make a bigger difference in the community. So when they got to speak, to legislation in DC about like what they're seeing in their community and why, funding for prevention is so important. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That's why she does what she does. All right, next we have Kaylee Delgado.
Hi, I'm Kaylee and I'm a 10th grade student at Kylie High School. Today I just want to talk about where and how vaping happens. So as you guys know, vaping is a growing issue amongst school students. It commonly happens in the bathroom, locker rooms, and even classrooms. Students feel rushed, uncomfortable, pressured due to the peers vaping and shared places. It disturbs the school environment and it's a really unhealthy atmosphere. It has a lot of impact on students. It exposes to peers. Vaping increases likelihood of more students trying, creating a negative and stressful school experience to non-vaping students, and potential health risks from secondhand exposure can lead to nicotine addiction and affecting the focus of me and my other peers who are non-vapers. But one thing I do want to touch on is the impact on teachers and school environments. I've talked to one of my teachers and they say that students that vape have a poor academic performance due to the nicotine addiction and withdrawal symptoms. The classroom is constantly disturbed with students trying to leave to vape, and the teachers can't do nothing about that because they can just lie their way out of that. It adds stress for the teachers and staff trying to manage this issue. And it also has a negative effect on us who are non-vapers because our school has now had to close up some stalls to prevent this issue, causing non-vapers to feel like, why did this happen? And just not being fair at all. But us as a club called Claws of the Cause, we have tried to prevent this with a Teens in Driver's Seat app. It's basically you get paid with gift cards to not be drinking and driving. And we have also gave free lock bags to help parents lock up their stuff so children don't get in it. And Find Your Good, it's a youth media campaign. So vaping in 2025 remains a challenge and continuing to support this issue is very important for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, we have Natalie Hartley.
Hello, my name is Natalie Bartley. I'm a 10th grade student. Today I want to talk about an issue that is affecting our school district, drug use among students. My personal experience. I've personally witnessed high school students trading drugs and giving vapes to these middle schoolers on my bus. This is an ongoing issue with our school district and it needs to be addressed. The Healthy Youth Survey in 2023 also revealed that 23% of youth don't think using cannabis or alcohol is wrong. The average age of a Kylie student trying a vape for the first time is just 12 years old. These facts contribute to the long-term risk of substance misuse. According to the Healthy Youth Survey, 16.2% of 10th grade students in Benton County have used marijuana, 19.7% have vaped, and 36.9% have tried alcohol. Why I'm involved. I am a part of the Claws of the Cause Coalition because I want to make a difference in our community and help protect the future of our youth. We need to work together to prevent substance use and offer healthier alternatives for our students. Drug use is not just an individual problem, it's a community issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was part of their presentation that they did in DC. So just kind of to show you what they did. And I just wanted to award them with Youth Voices in Action certificates for doing so much for our community and working on their public speaking skills. It's a really hard thing and they're doing so good. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys your certificates. Thank you guys so much. You're free to go if you would like. Yeah.
We won't make you stay. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Start off.
Yep,
Real.
yes, sir.
I have a question, outstanding, it was very, very good and that type of thing. What's the future? What are we doing to build on that?
One of the things that we're very fortunate to have is we've got a very active coalition for healthy Benton City. Now, that is a large encompassing group of community members come together regularly for a lot of different health-based issues. This is simply a school-based subcommittee group that tends to focus on the more illegal side of things, the vaping, the drug use, alcohol use among minors, those types of things. But when you see Brianna, especially, Bernardo's a part of that group. As a member of the Faith Council, I'm part of that group. So it really does lend itself to be a community-wide, there's community-wide work going on to try and find the best ways to address it, knowing it is not simply a school issue. And if you try and address it as a school issue, it's doomed to failure immediately. So I'm really proud of the fact that our school represents itself very well amongst community members who are trying to make a difference. That's a great question.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to the proposed consent agenda. Anything, any questions?
Second, the approval of the proposed consent agenda.
All right, been motioned and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
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 Oh, Josh, forgot you were out there in the. All right, with that public comments, does anybody have a public comment? All right, come on forward, sir. Oh, I have to read you my thing. Walk slow. The board welcomes input from the community. Please follow the public comment procedure by stating your name at the podium when recognized by the chair. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the board is not allowed to discuss items not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise during public comment as appropriate. The board will not allow complaints against an individual staff member or student in open session unless that individual has requested an open public hearing. No names.
Yep, not a problem. Dan Adamson. I just wanted to voice my opinion on a topic that was discussed in the last board meeting, was the potential development across the highway, and about maybe setting some parameters in order for if that development went in, the school district would need some kickback in order to facilitate a school. Obviously, we can't. In my opinion, we can't have a primary school over there. In primary, I mean additional, replace any of our schools here. Just because we wouldn't have the school buses, the manpower, we'd have to bus every street down there. Creates safety issues with narrow streets and whatnot. So I probably need to do I wouldn't hurt to go to some the city meetings, but I don't know if that's in the near future, but I think that the school district and the public can't afford to pay for another school. If there's that many houses go in, they need to provide property and pay for 99% of it. Whichever school, elementary school, secondary to 101 on this side of the river. So just my opinion. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Have a good night.
Appreciate that, Dan.
Anything else? Heidi, anything electronic?
Yes, I do. And so this is from Tom Galeota. And it's just a secondary. Jerry Martin was also involved in this. Just to give you a bit of background, they contacted our office with a request to speak. And unfortunately, Tom couldn't make it this evening. But he sent me the piece that he would like read into the record. And this is, they are representing, and Tom is representing the Benton County Republican Party. So this is public comment to the Kiona Benton City School Board meeting on April 14th. I appreciate the opportunity to provide this public comment tonight as a member of the Benton County Republican Party's vetting committee. I'm making this comment to encourage candidates within your school district to consider filing for public office to support not only your school district directly, but also to support your local businesses, your neighbors, your community, and your families. Several Kybee school board positions currently do not have identified Republican candidates to fill them. These positions are very important to your local school district, to your children, and to your community. These are entry-level publicly elected positions that allow any civic-minded individual to get involved. If you live within one of the Kybee school board districts and wish to run for office in that district, you must fill out an application within the Kiona Benton City School District office. Beyond that, anyone who sincerely cares about your and your community's children and wants the best opportunities for them is encouraged to toss their hat into the ring. I recognize that Kiona Benton City is currently undergoing some redistricting changes. However, the time is now to formally file for school board office before the Benton County hard cutoff filing date of May 9th, so you can officially be on the primary election ballot in August. If you need any assistance in how to file or what the expected duties are for school board positions, help is available. You can contact your current school board members or contact the superintendent's office directly. Superintendent Peterson and Ms. Heidi Chapman also have my contact information if I can assist you. For additional information, you can reach out to the Benton County Republican Party. Our website is bcrpwa, all caps, .com. Again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share this message this evening. Thank you, Tom. That's all we have.
Hobble up there.
Yeah.
Get back 3 minutes, right?
You get 3. Started when you got out of your. Okay.
I'm Paul Walters. I'm a secondary math teacher here at the Kiona Benton High School. I know summer school was a topic last time. I'm going to speak on behalf of the program that Sandra Edwards started when she got here at the high school for summer math program. We use the Alex program for our math. The kids are able to work at their own pace and accelerate, which is different than the Edgenuity program that are credit retrieval and alternative classes go through. Math also runs through that program, but our standard math courses go through Alex. The first year I got here, when I got hired here, 2022, I started the 2023 year, but I was here for the summer of 2022, yes. Sandra had about 12 kids in there. And I was coming in just to learn the environment. It was really cool, it was very positive. It was a nice introduction for me. The next summer I helped out with her. I think we got about 30 kids daily for the first part, and that teetered off as they earned credits throughout the summer. But we had a few consistent kids. This last summer though, we had over 70 kids voluntarily, not forced, voluntarily, not just for credit retrieval, come to our summer school program. A huge progress, and that means because you have to take the seniors out of it because they graduated and moved on. So that's 70 out of, I would say, roughly 230 9th through 11th graders, right, that were coming back the following year. Almost 30% of our student body at the high school showed up voluntarily to do math 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, until they either earned their credit. We had some kids that showed up, took a class that they haven't even started, finished it over summer, so now they're accelerated, so they can go on to pre-cal and pre-cal 2, or join Learning Star and do that through college. But yeah, I just wanted to share since the topic, since I've gotten here, we've gone from 13 to 70 kids voluntarily showing, and every year we just want to be better. We started allowing the 8th graders to come up before their freshman year starts during the summer and also get a head start and learn what high school math is like before they actually start their freshman year. just to add. So yeah, I just want to throw out what our summer math program does. Any teachers watching, I didn't talk about yours.
Thank you, Cole. All right. Okay, so moving on to our director's reports, starting with special services, Diane.
Hello,
Hello.
I have passed out my little handout.
It's always so great.
So, for program for special ed, right now, we're coordinating transition meetings with our special education resource teachers, principals, and counselors. And I believe it's scheduled for May 9th. Teachers use sub time to work together that day and basically review the students who are coming up that are in special education, ensuring the counselors know who they are and if they're in a resource room or an inclusion classroom so that they get placed appropriately. They also take the time to review any students who have 504 plans that are moving up to the next building or grade level. So for dual language, I gave you a copy of our flyer, informational flyer. Hopefully we'll get this on our Facebook page and our website tomorrow. And we're having just an informational dual language meeting next Tuesday. We'll have one in Spanish and one in English. And we're basically going to give an outline of what the program is and what a typical schedule would be like. The principal and I will be doing the meeting, and we'll also have the kindergarten dual language teachers there so they can meet the teachers, and then just any questions that they might have. We foresee this just to be an initial meeting, and as people get interested and or have more questions, then we'll host different meetings. So anyway, under the dual language, those are just a few bullets regarding what the program is, that it's an incoming kindergarten program, and our students that are priority are our students who qualify for ELL services. And traditionally, we have about 20 to 25. So there'll be about 20 slots, 10 for English-speaking students whose parents would like them to participate in a dual language program. And then our staff is going to share a little bit with them about what the schedule would look like, how we would divide up the English language and the Spanish language. And then I just was notified that there is going to be another opportunity for a dual language grant to support that work next year. So I'll be working on that grant. Every year we've received about $25,000 that helps with professional development for the teachers and classroom materials. And then we've also had an outside consultant coming in and working with our staff. For migrant education, we just have all kinds of activities happening. April 24th, we're having a spring resource fair. This is the second year we'll be doing that. It'll be our typical time for family engagement is 5:30 to 7. So we're going to be hosting that at the high school. ESD 123 is offering to the region opportunities for 5th grade students, and that's Hawk Day. So they go and CBC sets it all up. The students get to eat lunch there, pretty much spend the day there and get a sense of awareness about college at Columbia Basin. In April, next week, we have our 8th graders going to WSU Tri-Cities. Same thing, they'll be spending the day there and going through and visiting that campus. We have some leadership activities happening with the ropes course. There's a ropes course in Tri-Cities. And so we have some of our 8th grade students are joining some high school students through Gear Up. And we received, I guess, scholarship or opportunities for about 15 eighth graders, and I think about 15 high school students to attend that. And typically it's about $2,000 for 30 students to participate. So it's a great opportunity for our students to participate in that. We have another group of our migrant high school students. They'll be going on May 9th, about 30 of those students. We have our migrant graduation celebration happening May 29th. And then last time I shared with you the whole list of family engagement things we've been doing each month. So our last one is going to be May 21st. And at that meeting, we're going to be reviewing all the events that we've had so far, and then we'll be doing another survey of what other family engagement events they would like to have for next year. So our goal at the end of this meeting is to have our 6 or 7 family engagement topics, and then we'll work on a schedule so we can present that probably in September, so we can start in October for our first family engagement event. And then our bilingual program and multilingual program. I'm working with the buildings now for the new grant. We're required to have each building submit their own plan for how they support multilingual students. And there is a template that they need to complete. So I'll be working with the principals on that. The same process that we do for special education placement, we do for our ELL students to ensure that they're clustered in classes where teachers have their ELL endorsement. And then after May 1st, we're able to screen our incoming kindergarten students. So we have an opportunity, probably about a month, to screen any of our potential ELL students in TK, our 2 ECAP programs that we have here in Kaibi, and then also our Head Start program.
Like you're gonna be very busy the next couple.
We're really busy.
Yep.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to athletics.
Hi, my name is Dirk Hansen. We're midway through spring sports at the high school level. Middle school gets started this week with games. I thought I'd just throw out our participation numbers. Middle school track, we have a total of 23 out, 5 boys, 19 girls. Weird numbers. Softball, 2 teams, 26 total. This is middle school. Baseball, 2 teams, 24 total. Soccer numbers are up. Tony's done a good job with that down there. We had 28 total for 1 team. Almost had to make 2 teams, but we're keeping it at 1. So we got big numbers on that team. So out of 7th and 8th combined, we have 220 kids total, and we have 102 participating. That's almost 46%. That's a pretty decent participation numbers at the middle school. High school track, we got 25 boys, 18 girls, good numbers for track. We had 3 that qualified for the Pasco invite, which is the best of the best. Softball, 2 teams again, 23 girls, currently in first place. Baseball, 2 teams, they're about middle of the pack right now, 22 boys, currently 4th place. Tennis numbers are up, big improvement over last year. We have a total of 21 players, 17 girls and 4 boys. Out of our 400 kids, grades 9 through 12 up here, 130 are participating, roughly about 30%, which is I think about the same as it was last year. That's kind of common for a lot of high schools, you know, the 30s, right about there. But that's all I have. You guys have any questions for me?
So,
No.
thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Moving on then, Bernardo. No pictures. Not showing
I was tempted to share that. Good evening. As always, I always start off with ECAP preschool, my favorite program in the world. Fully enrolled, fully staffed. I kind of want to describe a little bit about the staff part of it this time around, Brian, a little bit on that, just because quite honestly, there's some of the most hardworking, dedicated, driven, resilient individuals I've ever worked with. I've had the pleasure to work with. They're awesome. Last couple of years, kind of like the district's going through audits. Last couple of years, we've been going through a couple audits. One that's a DCYF quality, they call it a continuous quality improvement, which is fancy words for overall gathering and providing evidence and documentation for all policies, procedures, practices, what have you. So that's the DCYF part of it. The other bit is a required every 3 years rating for ECAPs. All ECAP programs every 3 years have to go through a rating system, and you have to score a 4 out of 5 scale. The old system that they had, which is prior to COVID, was a one-time unannounced surprise visit. They just show up, show credentials, and they spend the day in your building inspecting everything and everybody, which is stressful. But you know, if you're lucky, it's a great day. If it's a bad day, it's just a bad snapshot. So I'm glad they've improved it. What we went through prior to COVID was not a positive experience. It was one of those days where we had snow up to our eyeballs. The kids were off because it's one of those days, right? Had staff out sick, power went out in half the building, and there we have these strange adults in the building inspecting everything, and they're not allowed to interact. I would greet them, ask them if they needed anything. They're like IRS agents. They just sit there and observe and take notes, and it was the oddest experience. So it didn't go well. Once we got our rating, I strongly advocated for a re-rating, explaining all the details of what had happened. They granted us a re-rating, and COVID hit. So then during COVID, the state created a new system. So once we got back into business and practice, we started learning what the new system was, while at the same time trying to comply with what the new system was. So it's been a challenge, but we're getting there. And now it's a earning of points according to what we provide in our quality program standards. So we have to provide evidence of our developmental screenings, assessments, individualized instruction, curriculum, instructional leadership, preventing suspension, expulsion, strengthening, supporting families, transitions to kindergarten. And then the two big ones that were a big change is quality instruction learning environment. So now that requires 12 videos, 6 per classroom. So we've had to learn how to become video producers. So we have to record lessons, teachers and students, and use the criteria, and it's a rubric. It's a ton. So, you know, we're preschoolers, we're preschool teachers and preschoolers. That's a challenge. So 12 videos, but we're done. We got that part of it done. We also learned there's quite a bit of professional development teachers had to go through. Last year was a planning year. We got them enrolled into CBC for some early learning certificates. It's kind of a stackable certificate. They start with initials and shorts and then what have you. Teachers have been going to school at night at CBC this year, and they work really hard during the day to do an awesome job with our kids, meet all their needs, and then they go to school in the evenings, whether it be online or in person. So they've been working very, very hard. So we're getting close to the end now. I plan on submitting all of our evidence and documentation by the end of this month, and I promise I will keep you posted just as soon as I find out what they tell. I believe we earn a 5. I'll settle with a 4, and that way they'll leave us alone for 3 years, and then we'll work on the next one. So that's what I'm shooting for. If you recall, I'm a member of the regional ESD and Head Start directors group, and then I let you know that in February we're going to do a regional health fair. It happened on the 26th of February. It was awesome. We had a huge turnout. The developmental center, we filled the gym with service providers from the area. We had a great turnout from families throughout the region. We had a lot of our staff show up and a few of our Kybe families show up. It was a great experience. We're going to continue to do that every year. It's an awesome partnership with the area Head Starts and ECAPs, the early learning programs. That was a blast. March 19th, we had a CERT program training. That was awesome because we had both Patterson and Sunnyside School District CERT teams join us, which was a great experience. We learned from each other, observed, went through the exercises, and like I said, it was a great experience to learn from each other. So that was awesome. Other than that, our pantries continue to be supported by West Harvest, Ag West Credit Union, and then also public donations. So those continue to be supplied and up and running. That's all I have. Let's see, any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Oh, well, Reed, I'll let you come in. You're good enough.
Sounds good. I think I was on there, and I'm sorry I didn't provide these before. That's a summary of what I'll share today. That way, if you have questions, feel free to pick my brain or say, Reed, what did you just give me? You like the copy? Sure. Thanks. All right. So what you'll find in that report that I provided is a little bit of a summary of the last 90 days of maintenance work order type planning and repairs. So over the last 90 days, we've received 542 work orders. We've completed 433 of them with our maintenance staff, with a backlog of about 109. So to sum it up, I tried to break it down to make it easy. We're getting about 8 to 9 work orders or repairs a day, and we're able to complete about 6 to 7 a day. So given the day, if you get a big day where everything's breaking, it can be a little chaotic and we're trying to keep up. But balance and order, that's about where we're at. And over that 109 backlog, again, that's 62 working days. So 90-day period, 62 of those are actually working days for our staff. With that data, you're going to find a summary report that's going to show some of the categories of what those work orders are. About 2 pages in, there's a bar graph that shows where most of that time is being spent. If you can imagine, with the change in weather going from heating season to cooling, there's going to be a bunch of HVAC type repairs.
Yeah, you said, Tricia, as a matter of fact, exactly what you were talking about there.
Sure.
I was looking at the executive summary, which is real good. And just noticed in the middle of it, I assume is that the total there, where it says on the first graph, it's 157 and it's kind of under, it doesn't look like it's a real number.
To try to fit on the page, if you look at the next page on the back, it will break down each category with those numbers, just to make it easier.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
The graph's more of just a quick shot so you can pick out some of the real obvious ones. But yeah, 157 work orders of HVAC type repairs to keep things working and functional.
Are the repairs due to age or use or what?
Yes.
Both.
Yes.
So this is the new program that you just implemented over the last year.
Yeah.
Do you think it helps track where the most of your work is being?
Yeah, and I was going to kind of touch on that in this report, and I'm glad you bring that up because
I'll let you.
no, I'm glad you asked, and that's why I presented the information, is because we need to ask questions, right, when it comes to repairs and where our resources are. So my goal with this and why we're even doing this is we can clearly and try to track and identify where we should be spending our resources. Obviously, some of them are limited, and so the better we can identify and go, these are the real demand and needs for the district to better serve our students and families and facilities.
It's nice the way it's broken down, seeing it this way now.
I hope it's helpful. That, again, that's the goal, and that gives you the ability to give me feedback and thoughts for all of us. In summary, from my last report to now, when it comes to maintenance, I touched on the HVAC already. We did do quite a few roof repairs. The winter rain that came, we had quite a bit of it, and it definitely exposed us of where we had leaks. Some are still continuing to be repaired, and there is a couple that we're evaluating right now of what the most cost-effective way is going to be to repair, mainly on some flat roof spaces. So it can be a very thorough project, or it could be trying to mitigate it. Spring sports, like was mentioned by Mr. Hansen's in swing, so we're trying to keep fields playable, safe,
That's a continual process currently. We did a really good job with weed control before coming into winter, so it was really refreshing to come into spring and not have to use as much time and resources to try to control that, because it can get really out of control. So we're still clearing out some tumbleweeds that come through when the wind comes out. You'll see some fence lines that need cleaned out again. As far as grass improvements go, we've been really tactical as far as trying to pay attention to what the grass needs and the soil needs. We did aerate our play fields at the elementary and our stadium, and it seems to really help. It's getting more water. It's not as compacted, it's not as hard, which will make it safer too for the students. As far as transportation goes, Washington State Patrol performed their random inspection. Basically, in summary, when they come for a random inspection, we have the opportunity to present several vehicles, not the whole fleet. They come randomly. Part of the trade-off is, okay, look at these ones. That's how that works. And that was successful. Our mechanic has done a very good job at trying to keep our fleet of buses operational, functional, and safe. Our annual inspection is set for May 28th. That is where Washington State Patrol goes through every single vehicle, bus that we transport students in. Our mechanic and our drivers take a lot of pride in giving a positive report on that. So we'll look forward to that. I touched on most of the points I wanted to this evening. Do you have any other questions for me? I hope next report you'll see again that 90-day overlay of what those work orders and repairs look like.
Thank you.
Food service, Jennifer.
Hello. Starting off April 24th, I'm going to be attending training. I just signed up this morning for USDA school meal program's final rule. It's the sugar limits, all that fun stuff for the meals. So I will be doing, we'll be getting trained and learning how to train our staff to follow all the rules and make sure we're complying. That starts next school year, so July 1st, we'll have to, so if we do summer meals still, if we're still doing them, I'll have to start it then for summer meals, so. May is good, May 15th is our barbecue this year. I changed the date a little bit to include ECAP and 6th graders. So you guys are all welcome to come and join in the fun and have lunch or help barbecue or whatever you feel like doing. And then also I think last time I reported, we had a little contest with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Little drawing, they could be good in the line. They got to draw, we drew their names for each class. So Miss Weekly's class in 4th grade won, and they get to pick a lunch for a day in May. So her class chose birria pork tacos. So we're gonna, yeah, something new, completely new.
All right.
Try that.
What day is that?
That'll be May 1st. So, and then they got to choose the sides, and I think her class chose street corn and mangoes. Yeah, we're gonna do frozen mangoes to go with it. So, May 8th, Miss Tracy's class won for 5th grade. They chose chicken drumsticks, so a little easier, a little more common. The kids are used to it. And then finally, May 29th, Mr. C's class, the baked potato bar he chose. Their class got to pick. So the idea of it was for the kids to kind of pick, and I could get an understanding of like what their favorite things are and stuff. So that'll be exciting to see what the other kids think about their peers' choices. And then just to finish up real quick, I'll be using up our last of our farm to school grant money in May. So we've gotten, in May, we'll get 3 orders of the fresh baked rolls from Vieira's Bakery. So we served them once, the kids really enjoyed them, and then serving them again Thursday, I think, so. And then we'll do it one more time in May, so. Yeah. That's all I have. Any questions?
Is that part of the school grant something that rolls around every year?
I haven't seen it come back up again. I heard that it may. I think it depends on state funding and all of that. Yeah, so, but if it does come back up, I'm definitely gonna, it was so, yeah. The kids enjoyed all the fresh stuff, so, yeah.
Yeah, something the kids really like, of course, is the first thing that we need to consider cutting.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jenny.
And Mr. Rodriguez is not here.
Correct.
We will be moving on to unfinished business, summer school update.
Just a quick summer school update. The last time that we had a chat, we were kind of going back and forth about the level of services and what could we provide. Mona was able to provide basically last year's funding was set at $142,000, and we were a come one, come all K-12 experience for summer school, including transportation, lunch service, and went to the principals, have talked with them, and we've really been able to pare things back. And if we went forward, we can get this down realistically, including our full staffing costs and benefits and everything, under $100,000. That will not be simply a come one, come all. From an eligibility standpoint, we would want at the K-5 level certainly to limit it to the students who are highest need, and that's based on our assessments and our RTI program. At this point, we would not have a middle school summer program. That's always the challenge, to get kids to want to come to a program at that age. And then a pared down high school program consisting of credit retrieval for our students, focusing on upperclassmen who are severely credit deficient or seniors who are graduating, as well as a modified migrant program and hopefully a modified math program. So if we can hit within the ranges that Mona has worked out, we should be able to offer that level of service. I'm not certain that we would have nearly the numbers, especially at the high school, that we've had in the past years, but certainly give us the opportunity to continue some successful programs across all grade levels, but also hit the kids that we really need to hit the most, with the intent on going back to a full service model then for the next year, next summer at this time. Everything obviously costs money, so it's a matter of prioritizing. And we feel that the highest need students are the ones who are going to benefit the most this time. Certainly, Dan.
Back 1,000 years ago when I was a student, and I actually found myself in one of those unique positions of needing some extra competitor. I wasn't going to graduate. Do we mix that in? My father's on the school board, so you have a real good chance to talk to the educators, but do we mix that in with counseling such that you would talk to the young student and say, look, you're coming up in your junior year, your senior year, here's what you're going to have to do to make it happen. Otherwise, it's not going to. And here is the potential way in summer school to make that happen. Does that program come along with that?
Well, our high school counselors have those conversations starting in about January of the year prior, and prior to going into the next summer. So much of what we are able to accomplish at the high school during the summer as the result of conversations that have happened in the spring to make sure that kids realize if you do this during the summer, this is what next year is going to look like. Or if you don't do this summer, this is what next year and possibly longer is like. But yes, both of our counselors are exceptional at being able to look long-term and see where the likeliest needs are going to arise, although sometimes they come out of the blue still, even during senior year.
Does that counseling also extend to parents or just the students?
Primarily just the students.
Gonna ask the same thing.
Yeah.
If a conversation happens with the counselor and the student, and it's more of a priority that the student attends, is the parents made aware that that's something that they should be looking into?
I would have no doubts personally that the counselors, if it's a high need, parents are going to receive a phone call and say, your kid really needs to be there. Yep. That's in addition to just all of the normal information that goes out for all parents to look at options and opportunities. But especially a kid who might be served in some of our special programs that not only has a counselor involved, but maybe a case manager or another servicer, they're going to tag team those kids too.
I think that's important to provide that to the parents so they can help and provide words of encouragement too, to stimulate interest in that.
Yep. And I'm not one of the ongoing challenges in high school education in general is the older kids get, the less involved some of our parents tend to be, not all, of course, but we want to start, especially with those juniors and seniors, and really impress upon them that they're in control of their own destiny to some degree. But the high needs kids, we really need to involve parents and make sure that they're on board. Yeah. So I'm not looking for any specific approval or anything tonight, but based on the previous conversations that we've had, the main idea is just that the expenditures for summer programming are going to be dropping about 35 to 40% this year. And we'll refocus on our highest need kids for this coming summer, but in moving forward, we'll make other decisions and hopefully get back to the open sessions that we've been able to enjoy the past few years.
Moving on to new business, we have resolution 3-2025 WIA approval.
Thank you. This is our typical yearly approval resolution. This simply says that we're going to play by the WIA's rules, that we're going to listen to them as far as the sanctions and the way that they define all of the sports seasons and eligibility issues and things like that. I know that the board is aware that there have been some finer topics that have been going back and forth with the WIA, and those are topics that are not going to be settled either in this school board room or, quite frankly, any. They're going to be settled inside of a courtroom. So until that happens, though, my recommendation is simply that we go along with the other 294 school districts in the state that work with the WIA to provide interscholastic activities. There's certainly no controversy in that. We can look at specific issues on an individual basis, but overall, the WIA has a long history of doing what is best for the most student athletes that we have. So my recommendation would be to go ahead and approve this resolution as we have for the previous 50 plus school years.
I will get a motion to
I motion to approve resolution 3/2025 WIA.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okey dokey, moving on to policy 3205, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of students being prohibited.
Yep. The board would have received policy 3205, and it should have looked extremely familiar because this is a revision and a reversion. We are reverting from the policy that was passed in 2020 to the previous year's policy that was passed in 2019, and obviously coincides with a change at the federal level to Title IX regulations. So we are basically taking one step back to our previously board-approved policy. Would have been approved in 19, changed in 20, and we are going back to the 2019 version. Quite frankly, in my opinion, there's virtually no significant changes other than some wordsmithing as a former English teacher. But the gist of the policy itself, the prohibitions, as well as the requirements on the part of the school district to investigate and to prohibit these actions doesn't change and hasn't changed for quite some time. So would be my recommendation, because this is a revision and will take effect immediately. If approved, we would put it back on the website and note that at the bottom and the dates. So my recommendation would be to go ahead and do this, and then we're back in compliance with the federal government.
Any questions? All right, I entertain a motion to approve policy 3205. I'll second.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to 10, board comments. Anybody have anything to add?
Just one thing that I think is really important that comes from personal experience of my own as I went through school. Engaging with parents, especially in high school or as maybe even junior high, as they're moving up towards graduation, is real important. Now, I didn't appreciate that as much when I was a younger person that they were so clued in, but it really helped focus what I needed to be doing to make sure I was going to graduate or I wasn't going to. And went on to college and life went on and that type of thing. But I really like that, engaging other parents to say, you know, this is where your individual is at. Here's what they need to accomplish to go ahead and graduate successfully. Because that's at a point in time in life where in the next 3 to 5 years, their outlook is going to totally change. Their interest is going to totally change. And but at that point in time, as a senior or moving up close to that, sometimes it's a little hard to focus on the future more than the present, you know. So I like what I'm seeing there, that we reach out and say, hey, look, your son or daughter to be successful, here's what needs to happen. Match up to what everybody's theoretical dream is, you know. Anyway.
Yep, no, I have anything today.
Josh, you got anything?
Yeah, just want to add real quick, really appreciate the multiple public comments we had tonight. Those are always appreciated, the feedback from the community. And then just as usual, appreciate Teddy and the rest of the board accommodating my work travel.
Not the beach somewhere, it's all good. All right, with that, we will head into executive session pursuant to RCW 30.110, section 1, performance of a health employee with no business policy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
You.